Hi everybody, we are Tim and Shannon.
And we've been living in our self-converted Sprinter van for 3.5 years now.
And we've been having people ask us, what would you do different if you were to do it over again? What would you keep the same?
So we put a few things together and we'd love to have you along to show you.
So let's take a look.
One of the things that works is our composting toilet. So we built this composting toilet. Here it is, sneak peek. Whoop! The only thing that we're doing differently with this is instead of using peat moss, which if you look in our video up here, you'll see that that's what we were using at the time. We use wood chip shavings now. Much more sustainable, much better for the environment. So check that out. You can get free plans if you look in the description below. Yeah, build another van, definitely same composting toilet.
One thing that's not working so well for us is our Lagun table mount. So I've just made myself a cup of coffee. I set the jar of instant coffee down and it goes right off the edge of the table. That's because our table is sagging. Look at this. So let me show you what's going on. I'm going to take the table off and we'll take a closer look at this thing. Okay, so here's the problem as I see it. This thing has plastic parts. It has plastic bushings like this, and this thing mounts on a plastic pin. And I think they get worn out over time. This pin is deformed. Look at this. At this angle, there's our problem. But if I go that way, no trouble. So that pin is no longer round like it used to be. We have replaced these and it still does this. I think this is because we've put too much weight on it, but it's a table. What are we going to do? So I have an idea how I might fix this. It's not really a fix, it's more of a workaround, but I think it'll work. I think it'll keep our table level. Once I do that, I will put a link right here and you'll be able to see a video how I fixed it. If you don't see that link yet, just keep checking back because this thing's driving us crazy and I'm going to do it real soon.
One of the things that works and we love is our 3-way Pfister faucet. It does hot water, cold water, and filtered water. Unfortunately, one of the things that didn't work was the dual water filter system. It had 2 water filters, which you would think would be great, but they were rated to perform for 6 months. They only lasted 2 months. So over the course of a year, that added up to a lot of expensive water filters and a lot of garbage. So that brings me to today's sponsor of our video, Epic Water Filters. They make an under-the-counter water filter that filters out all kinds of contaminants, but I don't want you to take my word for it. Check out their website and see the list of contaminants that they remove. Give yourself a chance to have some fresh, safe, clean water in your van. It is a massive under-the-counter water filter, and we are going to make a video showing how we installed it. It works great. And also, if you put in the discount code TSLTD20, you can get 20% off your first order. So check them out at epicwaterfilters.com.
Another thing is tongue and groove paneling. So we already did a video a while back where we said, oh, we should have done something other than cedar. Well, yeah, that may be true. But I think even more importantly now, something other than tongue and groove. And here's why. If we ever need to get into the ceiling to fix something, the whole ceiling has to come down. The same is true for the walls. So there's a few things I would like to change, but I have to tear the entire wall apart to do it. So what I would do differently is I would put up smaller panels that could be removed individually. So for example, we have some trouble with these LED puck lights. And the way they're designed, you can't just pop them out of here. So what has to happen is the wood holding it has to come down. And in this case, that means the entire ceiling has to come down. So I'm gonna fix these, but when I do that, I'm gonna cut just a little portion out of here, and I'm gonna get some little square pieces of plywood, drill holes in them to put these puck lights into, and then screw those little small panels up. And that way, if I ever have to replace one of these puck lights, I can just undo 4 screws and pull that out, pop it out of there, and we're good to go. So if you're building a van, I would strongly recommend you do not use tongue and groove all the way around the ceiling and walls.
I have to admit, this purchase was extravagant, okay? I think we paid about $600 for these, but another thing that I would totally do again is buy these really well-made window coverings by Adventure Van Company. And they're not paying us to say this. I just want you to know that these are good quality window coverings. We just bought the set, which comes with 2 for the side windows up front and then the forward windshield as well. So this one, they've got professional quality magnets that keep them up. Never had a problem with them. They work perfectly. The windshield one, you can use the foil side out, or you can use the dark side out depending upon what you want to do, if you want to go stealth. They are specifically made for your van or vehicle. So when you order them, you will plug in the make and the year, and they fit. They're perfect, seamless, expensive, but worth it.
Another thing I would do different building a van with our kitchen counter and cabinet combo unit here. I love how big it is. I love how much room we have. I love the layout of our kitchen. The only problem is we have had some trouble with our sliding door. And with this thing here, you can't get inside this door panel in the back there where all the inner workings are. And so 3 times in the last 2 years, we have had to totally uproot this thing and move it into the center of the van. It's a huge job to do that. So what I would do differently is make at least this much of this thing easy to remove. Make it sectional. We could even do it with this countertop still being here and just pop this thing out from underneath, because then you could access the door. So instead of making this all one piece, this entire unit, be thinking about future maintenance down the road and make this portion so that you can get it out of the way and get to that door and get it fixed.
One of the things after 3.5 years that we have absolutely no regrets about is our bed by Plush Beds. This is a RV style 8-inch foam mattress, and it is amazing. I love this mattress. Plush Beds is not paying us to say this. It's just a perfect fit. We haven't had any problems with it. Wonderful. This is a queen size. The other thing we have on it are some bamboo sheets that are working great. They're from Buffy Company. Oh, they're so nice. They stay cool in the summer and keep you warm in the winter. They're so soft. It's just wonderful. And same with the comforter. Comforter is from Buffy Company too. Yeah, gotta get a good bed. You just gotta.
We chose to use an Espar D2 diesel heater for the heat source for our van. And we've had a love-hate relationship with this thing. Would we do it again? Absolutely. Would we use it the same way again? Definitely not. So we've learned a lot. But one of the big pluses with this heater is it draws fuel from the diesel tank that also fuels the engine. So you don't need a separate fuel source for it. So that's very cool. Also, when it's working correctly, it keeps the van toasty warm in the coldest of conditions. So it's a good thing to have, but we have also had lots of trouble with it. We have made 3 separate videos, a mini series devoted to keeping this thing working. I'm not going to go into all of that right now. I just want to say we pretty much ran our heater into the ground. So we now have a brand new heater under the seat here. So I'm going to take our old heater, now that it's out of the van and we can hold it and turn it and look at it and show things, I'm going to make a final season finale video showing everything we've learned about service and upkeep on this thing. So keep an eye out right here. If you see a link to that video, that means we've done that. If not, just check back and we'll get that video done before too long.
Another thing we don't regret is putting in 2 ceiling vent fans. So we've got one in the forward and one in the aft. The reason for that is you can get good circulating airflow because these ceiling vent fans will, with the flip of a switch, will blow out or blow in. So you can get them going so that you've got good circulating air. It's great for here if you're cooking, because then you can vent your steam out of this fan. And if you're in the back going to sleep and it's super hot, you can have the fan blowing on you, which is so nice to try to keep you cool at night. So yes, we would do 2 fans again. The only thing that you've got to consider is what you're putting up on your roof. We had to finagle our solar panels, but it was worth it.
And lastly, we have a couple of items to add. These did not make it to the list of 9 items because they don't exist in the van, so we couldn't have told you whether they've been working or not for the last 3 years. But we think they're important enough that it's worth considering if you're building a van. The first one is some way to get heat back into the garage. Most of the year this is not a problem, but when we spend extended time in freezing temperatures, I tend to worry at night that I'm going to wake up sometime with broken pipes and water spraying everywhere. And so I wish we had an easy way to get heat back past this bulkhead to keep it warm enough so that the water system wouldn't freeze. What we've been doing in that situation is we just pull our box away from the bulkhead here, and that allows this space to let some of the air from in here get back there. When it's been really cold, we've even put one of our little 12-volt fans down on the floor here. But that gets in the way. It's a hassle to do that. And so one of the things Shannon thought of was, it's super easy, a heating blanket. They make these things that run off of 12 volts, and we could just put it between our water tank and the wall back there. The only problem with that is if we're off grid and we're not plugged into shore power and it's really cold, I'm worried about draining our batteries with that. And so then we've got our diesel heater up here. What I thought of was, if we were to rebuild this, or if we had built this differently in the first place, this kitchen cabinet on the side, down at the bottom, down on the corner there, just run a piece of 4-inch PVC pipe the whole length, all the way through the bulkhead, and put a little 12-volt fan inside of that. So it could just pull air from the living space here and blow it right back where our water system is. It doesn't have to keep it warm enough that it's comfortable living space back there. It only needs to keep it above freezing. And finally, as many of you know, Shannon is a travel nurse, so she gets jobs that last, 13 weeks. That's 3 months, typically, whenever she picks up a job. And what that means is we are in one place for 3 months. We pretty much have a home for 3 months. We're not moving all around. And that gives us the opportunity to save a lot of money on internet. Instead of using cell phone data, we can have a modem and our own internet account and save money that way. We've done this several times in the past. We've used Zito Media, we've used CenturyLink, and right here we're at our friend Leslie's house in Olympia, and this is where we've been living for actually almost 6 months now because Shannon extended. And so we've had a Comcast Xfinity account, and it's kind of cool. This is the box where Leslie's internet goes into her house, and we put a splitter on it, and we have a cable here. It runs across the ground, and then it goes right into our van, right through the door there. And when you open it up and look inside, there's our modem. And that's great until it comes time to close the door, because we're always slamming this cable in the door. What I think would work better is if we were to have another port right here by our shore power. Add a port that we could have a phone jack and also a cable TV jack. That way we could have a dedicated location inside the garage where the modem would stay. It'd be out of harm's way. We'd have an outlet to plug it into, and we would always be able to access the cable from outside the van by going through that port, instead of further destroying that cable every time we slam the door.
I'm so happy you guys showed up and came with us and checked out what we were up to. That was fun.
Yeah. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. That'd sure help us out.
And if you want to see more videos like this, you can hit the subscribe button because we're putting them out all the time.
And after you've subscribed, just click the little bell down there and you'll be notified anytime we put up a new one. Thanks so much. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
Bye.